and thank you for joining us on this special public safety edition of Let's Talk DeKalb. I'm Diamond Lewis.
And I'm AvivA Hoffmann.
On today's show, we'll spotlight some of the significant initiatives implemented to help make DeKalb County's communities safer.
That's right. And we're also talking about how our hard-working public safety employees are helping keep us safe each and every day. Also on this show, you'll meet our new Deputy Chief Operating Officer of Public Safety, our new Fire Chief, and our new Interim Police Chief.
We'll also talk about several recent major drug busts where DeKalb County's police officers helped to snag millions of dollars of illegal narcotics off of our streets. Now, we all know about the risk of driving under the influence. Later in the show, we'll have special safe driving tips for some of our younger drivers.
And did you know there's a new way DeKalb officials are helping protect your real estate from fraud? We'll be talking about that, as well as a new way to share important information with 911 that aims to keep you safe. But first, we take a look at one of DeKalb's somber but very important annual traditions.
Every year, May 15th is observed nationally as Peace Officers Memorial Day. And here in DeKalb County, it's tradition for our local law enforcement agencies to pay tribute to the lives of some of our fallen heroes that preceding week.
Here's more now on the ceremony that takes place at the Decatur Square. The sights and sounds are virtually the same each year. However, this year's DeKalb Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony had the additional weight of a new name on the wall. Officer Ivory Klusman died in a single-car accident while responding to a call. His name is now etched on the memorial wall outside the historic county courthouse in downtown Decatur, right next to 40 other fallen officers' names.
We miss them dearly, but they will always be close to us in heart and in spirit.
I appreciate it. Beautiful just to come down here. First time I ever been down here and seeing his name on the memorial wall. It's an honor, and I'm going to always remember that and cherish it.
Behind each of the 41 names on this wall is a story and is a family, the police survivors that are there.
Everyone knows it. Perhaps the officers know it best, but it could happen at any time to anyone.
The risk is real, and you see it on this wall as they were reading the roll call today. You know, I remember the stories of how each one of these officers died, particularly the ones since I've worked here. And you remember the story, you remember their families, you remember exactly what happened, and unfortunately these are all violent deaths, car accidents, or they were murdered.
And regrettably, the wall has grown since it was originally placed here.
But you'll notice we've had to expand the wall recently. This wall was dedicated in '97 and by Chief Burgess at the time, and he thought it would never be filled. Well, a couple years ago, we had to enlarge the wall to add more names, which is very unfortunate.
It may be unfortunate, but it's a very important reminder to the community and especially to the families of our fallen heroes.
Officer Larry E. Quinn, February 4th, 1973, DeKalb County Police.
Well, it's nice to see people honor our son and keep his memory going. You know, that's the most important thing to us.
And the people that he worked with, and you know how they come up and they treat us like family, and it feels good. Like I didn't lose a son, I gained a few more.
Family members tell us this service does help ease their grief some, even though they still feel the loss of losing their loved one.
That $1 million smile who's going to be missed by all of us.
Men and women who do this job, they put a lot on the line. They have a lot of responsibility that comes with the job. And of course, there are times, and that's what we're here today, celebrating the life and the loss of officers who have put it all on the line for this county and for this state and for this country. And we're so proud of them, but their memory and what they contributed must never be forgotten.
Sadly, the number of officers who have died in the line of duty, here and nationally, continues to grow. At the time of this year's memorial, more than 21,000 officers have been killed in the line of duty throughout U.S. history. 665 officers from Georgia have been killed in the line of duty over the years. And again, as marked on DeKalb's memorial wall, 41 officers from our county's law enforcement agencies have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Every year, mothers lose their babies to gun crimes. You'll always be your mother's baby. So before you commit a gun crime, think about who you'll leave behind. Gun crimes hit home.
Hello, I'm Code Compliance Administrator Marcus Keller.
And I'm Registry Manager Tonza Clark. And behind us is a vacant property.
Unkept properties like this can adversely affect the aesthetic and economic attributes of this community.
But now, DeKalb's residents have a new way to protect their neighborhoods from becoming blighted from vacant properties.
The Code Compliance Division is proud to announce the launch of their new Vacant Property Registry program.
Starting June 1st, all residential vacant property owners will be required to register their vacant property within 90 days of vacancy. Other requirements include designating a local property agent, paying a $100 fee at registration, and reporting any changes to their contact information. Failure to comply with these requirements will result in fines up to $1,000.
Vacant property owners can register at www.DeKalbCountyGA.gov/registry. For more information about this program, call 404-371-6379 or 404-371-2289, or send an email to foreclosureregistry@DeKalbCountyGA.gov.
Residents can also report a vacant property in their neighborhoods by contacting the Code Enforcement Complaint Line at 404-687-3700 or email Code Enforcement at codeenforce@DeKalbCountyGA.gov, or come to the Clark Harrison Building on 330 West Ponce de Leon Avenue in Decatur to speak with a code enforcement representative in person. Register or report a vacant property today.
And help the Code Compliance Division protect the quality of life for all DeKalb residents.
Welcome back to Let's Talk DeKalb, our public safety special edition. We're reporting today on location from police headquarters in Tucker. Now, our first guest on today's show is none other than the accomplished Dr. Cedric Alexander, a longtime leader in the area of public safety. In December of 2013, Interim CEO Lee May appointed then Police Chief Cedric Alexander to a new post where he now oversees several long-term strategies across all of DeKalb County's public safety departments. Those departments include police, fire, emergency management, 911, as well as our medical examiner's office. Dr. Cedric Alexander, thank you so much for joining us on today's show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really delighted to be here with you all today.
Dr. Alexander, as you mark your first year here in DeKalb County, would you share with us some of your background in public safety?
Well, I've been in and out of public safety for over the last 37 years. My career started in Tallahassee, Florida, on to Orange County, Florida, and then to Miami-Dade Police Department up until 1992. And then it was at that time that I left policing to go back to school, where I did a doctorate degree in clinical psychology. And now, a year ago, I've been here in DeKalb, and first 10, 12 months here, I served as chief of police. My intent initially actually was to go to the FBI, but I didn't have a 4-year degree. So I took a job in local policing and haven't looked back ever since.
Well, we're not the FBI, but DeKalb County is certainly a busy place as well. Can you tell us if you were excited about being named Deputy COO of Public Safety here in DeKalb County?
Yeah, I mean, there was some excitement came along with it in the sense that it gave me an opportunity actually to take all my years of experience and training and not to just have oversight over one aspect of public safety, but now having oversight over fire, medical examiner's office, animal control, and police, of course. So the goal here is to train our people to be the very best, to motivate them, to support them, to give them the best that we're able to give them in terms of resources and assets. And the DeKalb Police and Fire Department are both very, very good departments and can compete with any department in this country.
Now, Dr. Alexander, I understand you have some good news for us about the clearance rate of homicide cases here in DeKalb County.
Yeah, our homicide unit, I would put up against any homicide unit in this country. So far this year, and we're coming to the end of the first quarter of this year, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think we're ahead of where we typically are in homicides. But what is very unique about this particular first quarter is that they're holding 118% closure rate, which means that when a body drops, and what has been demonstrated in a very short time frame, subjects have been brought into custody. So those are very unfortunate incidents, but what we are pleased by here, and I'm certainly pleased by here, that the men and the women who work in our homicide unit are going out very aggressively and very professionally solving these cases to a point that we're beyond 100%.
Now, one of your major initiatives includes working with the clergy of DeKalb County. Can you talk to us about the Right Choice program?
The clergy across DeKalb County, about 13 or 14 clergymen and women across DeKalb, brought them into a room, and I asked them to help me put together a program, after-school program for young people, where those programs would be housed in their churches, where kids would come in after school, have help with their homework, have some social skills building, and a couple of places, and for a couple of hours, 1 or 2 days a week. I'm very proud of the work that they have done to make Right Choices such a great success, really in quite a very short period of time. And we're going to hear some great things going forward from this Right Choice clergy as well, too, in which they call themselves.
Now, tell us about some of your other initiatives geared toward DeKalb County's juveniles and some of your other policing initiatives.
Well, as you well know, when it comes to kids, we have the PAL program, Police Athletic League, and we have an entire unit of men and women that work with our young people in the schools each and every day. And, of course, during the summer, they have a huge program for them for several weeks during the summer where they work with a large number of kids and during the summer break, but also during the school year as well, too. The whole idea behind it is to give those kids something positive to attach to during those summer months and during that period. But we're going to try to get out ahead of some of the increase in property crimes we suspect. And typically we have during the summer months when many of these kids that are out of school and sometimes they may not have very much to do and get themselves in trouble.
Dr. Alexander, I understand congratulations are in order, that you're going to serve as president of Noble this year. Can you share with us what this achievement means?
Yes, national president of Noble, which is the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executive. Noble has been around since 1976. And Noble was born out of the whole idea that during that period of time in history, there was a very limited number of African-American men and women who were police executives across this country. And the goal today at Noble is to make sure that the best law enforcement is provided across this country to communities of all types across this country as well, too. So the organization has evolved from the issues that were more prevalent during the 70s to the more complex technological kinds of issues and social and cultural issues that we see today. And Noble is on the scene, and I am very proud to, a couple of years ago, to have been voted as National President of Noble, which I will be taking office in July of this year in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
And congratulations again on this incredible title.
Thank you very much.
How would you describe where we are in terms of public safety today here in DeKalb County?
Well, I think over the last year we are in a much better place than what particularly this police department has been. We've been able, through the help of wonderful men and women inside this department, we've taken on a new vision, we've taken on a new challenge to bring this department back to a place where officers feel a lot better about their department. We are a law and order police department. There are no exceptions. You break the law, you go to jail. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are akin to. I don't care who you are friends with. The important pieces here is that the public expect for us in public safety to be consistent in everything that we do. And you saw that demonstrated in this department, who has vast resources, where we have vast resources during the winter storms that we all experience here. And I tell you, the men and women in fire department, police department, across the board, they just did a fantastic and wonderful job. And we saw men and women in this police department and fire department who could not drive into work, Diamond. They either rode a bicycle in or they walked in. And you can't make people do that. That is something they do from the heart. And that is something that they do because they have a real compassion and a real love for this community. And we really do have to all tip our hats to the men and women that serve in public safety throughout DeKalb County.
You certainly have a myriad of accomplishments over your first year here in DeKalb County, but you have to be proud of the efforts and the success of what happened that day when a gunman walked into our own Ronald McNair Discovery Learning Academy.
Yeah, and that was a very challenging day for us in this county back during the school shooting during the fall of last year. And when we responded to that scene, a lot of assets and resources were sent into that school, and we saw some very, very brave men and women in the police department and fire department who responded diligently. And fortunately for all of us, that event ended without one child, one faculty member, one person being hurt. And there were a lot of people responsible that day for that event ending the way that it did.
Dr. Alexander, thank you so much for all the good work that you and the brave men and women of DeKalb County's Public Safety Department are doing each and every day. And thank you for your open and honest conversation with us today on this special edition of Let's Talk DeKalb.
All right. Thank you, Diamond. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Now, certainly our officers, and really all of us, realize we live in a world where, unfortunately, people can steal just about anything. But did you know your home can actually be stolen from you by the simple act of filing fraudulent documents? And before you even realize it, the issue becomes costly, complicated, and time-consuming to repair. But DeKalb County's Clerk to Superior Court, Deborah DeBerry, has come up with a system to help property owners in DeKalb County fight back. Here now with that story is our own Elena Daniel.
There are many documents that need to be filed when you buy your home. But did you know those same documents can be used against you to take your home away? It may sound unbelievable to some people that thieves have figured out ways to steal homes and property until it actually happens to you.
I can't tell you how sad it is to see homeowners come in and say, this is unbelievable. This can't be happening.
In the state of Georgia, clerks are not required to check identification when someone comes in to file documents on a property. This can create all kinds of problems for the homeowner if someone files fraudulent documents on their home. However, it is the policy of DeKalb County Superior Court to always check identification for anyone filing paperwork on property. But Deborah DeBerry knew that she could do more to help DeKalb residents.
I feel since I can't stop it, I have to do something about it. I started thinking, there's got to be a way.
In February of 2014, Deborah DeBerry launched the Property Fraud Registry Alert System. It's a program that informs property owners by email when any information is filed on their property.
We can't prevent it, unfortunately, but we can at least let the homeowner know that something has happened with their property.
If the property owner is informed of the issue early, they can report it to local law enforcement and stop thieves before it's too late.
The best thing is to be informed. That's the biggest start, is to be informed, and that's what the fraud registry does, keep the property owner involved.
This new alert system is just another way your elected officials are creating services to help improve the quality of life for residents.
DeKalb is stepping up, being proactive, and taking a negative situation and making it better for its citizens.
Now, this system is the first of its kind in Georgia, but Deborah DeBerry is working diligently to make sure that this system is implemented across the state of Georgia. I'm Elena Daniel. Let's talk DeKalb.
Thanks, Elena. Now, if you'd like more information on the Property Fraud Registry Alert System, call the office of Deborah DeBerry at 404-687-3812. You can also register your DeKalb County properties online at web.co.DeKalb.ga.us/clerk. Now, we've already introduced you to the Deputy Chief Operating Officer of Public Safety in DeKalb County. Coming up next, we'll introduce you to another chief in DeKalb. Last fall, DeKalb County began an extensive national search for a new fire rescue chief. 110 people sent in applications, allowing DeKalb to pick the very best of the best, and that was Chief Darnell Fulham. AvivA Hoffmann recently caught up with Chief Fulham in downtown Decatur, and he graciously shared a little bit about his background. That interview coming up next. Also,
do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in redemption? DeKalb Fire Rescue has a unique program that focuses on keeping teens safe behind the wheel and reducing calls for the war wagon. Coming up, more information about DeKalb Fire Rescue's Ghost Out program.
Stick around, you don't want to miss it. Much more Let's Talk DeKalb, our public safety special edition, right after this break.
I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I've always wanted to be a police officer since I was a kid. I always looked up to the officers and respected them. There's actually a lot more to police work than just catching the bad guys and writing tickets.
Well, as a police officer, I was working in corporate America. The job is different every day. Every day, I'm going to be faced with a new challenge, different things. 40, I'm happy every day coming to work, knowing how I make a difference.
The community out here really appreciates what we do.
We show a commitment every day to be there for them and provide them with a good service and justice.
Just that sense of fulfillment and knowing that I've helped someone possibly save their life that day gives me all the encouragement I need to do this job.
Do not quit. Let's go. Push yourself.
The academy is the first step to becoming a police officer.
The DeKalb County Police Department is the best because they've got nationally recognized training.
Come on, you got it.
They've got great supervisors that support what you're doing. They support you as a person as well.
We have a team of officers that go out here and they answer 911 calls for 10 hours. None of them do it alone. They all do it together. We all back each other up. Special Operations Division is made up of many different units. The K-9, the aerial unit, SWAT, motorcycles. It all comes together as one unit. We take care of the situation.
We left.
Let me see your hands. Drop the gun. I love the thrill. Criminals are trying to hide. I love chasing them. I love getting out there and, getting in the mix with them. You have honor amongst your fellow officers, honor in being a proud officer for the DeKalb County Police Department to serve this community justly and with respect to all people. There's a code of honor. There's honor, integrity, and loyalty. Why I did it? Because there's no other better job.
Welcome back to Let's Talk DeKalb, our public safety edition. And joining us now, we're very excited to introduce the new fire chief, Chief Darnell Fulham. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, you have been originally from the north, but you've been in this area for quite a while. Can you share with us what attracted you to the field of firefighting?
Okay, well, yes, I have been in the area for a while. It's been 28 years now.
Okay. We'll adopt you as Southern then, officially.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, after joining the military and serving 3 years, I came to the Atlanta area. And you asked about what attracted me to the fire service. I think as a lot of kids, I enjoyed going and seeing the fire trucks and the activity they did, and always knew that I would probably work in the area that helped others in public service.
Well, what would you say you're enjoying the most right now? I mean, you're fresh on the scene to DeKalb County, but you're certainly not new to the profession. But what are you enjoying the most as you're getting acquainted with DeKalb County's Fire and Rescue Department?
Well, it's meeting the people. There's some great folks out there. Those men and women that are out there on those fire trucks and that are in our public education section and our fire marshal's office. It's just a great group so far, so I'm excited to meet them and enjoying the conversations that I'm having.
All right, now you bring some really good energy to our county, and I know that you probably have some great ideas. It's still early yet, but you're going to be starting some different things and initiatives as you come aboard. Anything you'd like to share with us specifically?
Yes, I think one area that's really going to be high on my list, if you will, is that prevention efforts that we do. I believe that the fire service as a whole is the hallmark is what they do in the prevention efforts. It's not just about going out on the calls when somebody does call for our services. But one of the areas that I'm looking at immediately is community firefighting. And what that really means is that local fire station in your community is involved with the prevention efforts. They're taking a look at what type of calls they're running on, let's say if it's fall prevention, and I'm talking about where somebody's actually falling, usually it's our elderly population. If they're having a lot of those type of calls, that then they are contacting our public education, and we're developing a program that will meet the need of that community.
I'm sure that some of that outreach is, even for probably lack of a better word, almost fun, because you seem like a definite people person. But let me ask you now, what would you say is one of the hardest things about your job?
Well, the firefighters are going to see our citizens at their worst. They called us because they have an issue or a problem. And sometimes when we get there, we can't help. There may be someone who is deceased, or there's been property loss. So that can be difficult, and our firefighters have to be very careful that they don't take those emotions home, that they're able to properly release those issues. So it is a balance that they have to have between work and home. And we want to make sure that we're monitoring our firefighters, and that if they are experiencing these issues, that we get them the help that they need. But that can be tough sometimes.
I bet it can. And I think all of our firefighters, even as a resident, my contact has been just, I'm in awe of every single one of you. And sort of in those lines, you know, at the end of the day, when you're done with an easy day or a hard one, you know, what do you look forward to the most?
Well, for me, it's just going home and seeing my son and my wife. I have a 12-year-old son who's usually going to meet me at the door. So that immediately, if you will, crosses me over to that home life. And I enjoy spending time with my family and looking forward to the next day. But once again, I want to make sure that there's always that balance between work and home, and that I am enjoying those things, such as playing with my 12-year-old who expects Dad to come home and be full of energy.
Oh, yes. I have 2 boys as well, and I know how that goes. But I do love the greeting when you come home immediately. You can forget about everything else. But speaking about balance, and I know some things that I've heard about you and read about you, is that you seem really focused on improving from within and gender equality. And, you know, tell us a little bit about your philosophy on how you promote and look at some of our shining employees.
Well, and that is an area that's very close to my heart. I was raised by a single mother after the divorce at my home, and I have 3 sisters, no brothers. So
you're outnumbered totally.
Yeah, I was. But I also recognized very early on that there was nothing that, you know, a female could not do. So with that being said, being in the position I am, I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity, whether it's female or male, race, economic situation, has an opportunity to meet that dream if it's to become a firefighter.
All right. Well, as a fellow woman, to all the women out there, I like that, and I agree with that very much. And, you know, I would just want to say thank you for being on our show today and really sharing some really nice things about yourself. And I know that our viewers and the county, we welcome you, and we're looking forward to many great things with you as our fire chief.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now, continuing with this public safety edition of Let's Talk DeKalb, we're talking now about many of our young drivers and getting the message to them about the dangers of DUI. Captain Eric Jackson with DeKalb Fire Rescue has more on a national safety initiative that also aims to save lives right here in DeKalb County. Captain Jackson?
Thanks, Aviva. We're here at Towers High School in DeKalb County to talk more about DeKalb Fire Rescue's Ghost Out program. And to talk to us more about that program is Public Education Specialist Beverly Thompson. Beverly, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's just let our viewers know a little bit more about this Ghost Out program. And if you will, tell us more about the Ghost Out program.
Ghost Out was started here in DeKalb County back in 1989 by a group of paramedics here who saw an increase in accidents in high school students around prom time, spring break, and graduation. So they saw a need to take the program and develop it and take it out to the high schools, basically to teach our students about the dangers of drinking and driving, doing drugs and driving. We've also added the message of texting while driving, also wearing their seat belts and making sure they obey the posted speed limits.
And that's certainly good information to follow. Based upon your past experience with the program, what's been the feedback from both staff members and from the students?
Really, they love the program. I have schools, we rotate every 3 years to different schools, and I have schools who will call me and ask about bringing the program back before it's time. But whenever I have students to come up afterwards and say to me, I've changed my plans for prom night. This is what I was going to do, but I'm not going to do that any longer. That is what moves me in bringing the program to the different schools here in DeKalb.
Wow, that's wonderful. What has inspired you personally to become involved with the Ghost Out program?
Basically because I like working with young people. I like working with teenagers, and I have a heart for them. So this was just a program that was available when I started working with DeKalb Fire Rescue, and I wanted to have an opportunity to work with them.
That's wonderful. What programs, what schools do you plan to take this program to and present?
Well, this year for 2014, we're starting off with Towers High School, Towers, Arabia Mountain, McNair High School, Stone Mountain High School, and Martin Luther King would be our 5 schools for this year.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Beverly, for sharing this information about the Ghost Out program with our viewers.
All right, thank you.
And there you have it, DeKalb Fire Rescue's Ghost Out program, starting right here at Towers High School. For more information about this and other programs, log on to our website at www.DeKalbFireRescue.org. That's www.DeKalbFireRescue.org. Back to you, Aviva.
Thank you, Captain Jackson. A very important program with important messages for many of our younger drivers out there, and us old drivers too. All right, now stay with us. A lot more on this public safety edition of Let's Talk DeKalb. We'll be right back.
Remember this? Less than 6 months ago, Interim CEO Lee May joined DeKalb County sanitation workers on their collection route to get first-hand experience on what they go through every day.
Yeah, there's no better way to respond to their issues than understanding their issues. You can only understand them when you're walking in their shoes. I'm literally walking in their shoes today. I'm talking to our employees who are doing this every day, hearing what their concerns are so that we can empower them, equip them with the resources that they need to succeed.
Now, with the support of the interim CEO and the Board of Commissioners, the DeKalb Sanitation Department and Keep DeKalb Beautiful is proud to announce the launch of their sanitation collection pilot program. This 3-month pilot program will impact 28,000 homes and feature free 65-gallon roll carts for participants. It will also feature new sanitation vehicles and trucks with tippers that will help decrease injuries to sanitation employees. And under this program, all trash, yard clippings, and recycling will be picked up on the same day. The pilot's goal is to improve efficiency while maintaining a high level of customer satisfaction and keep DeKalb County a clean and green place to live. For more information on the new sanitation collection pilot program and to see whether your neighborhood is included, call the Sanitation Pilot Hotline at 404-294-2980 or email sanitationpilot@DeKalbCountyGA.gov. You can also visit www.DeKalbCountyGA.gov/sanitationpilot.
Welcome back to Let's Talk DeKalb, our public safety special edition. Joining us now is Interim Police Chief James Conroy. Chief Conroy was appointed to his new post in December 2013, but he's certainly not new to DeKalb County or to policing. Welcome to Let's Talk DeKalb, Chief Conroy.
All right, thank you, Diamond.
Chief Conroy, you've just been named as the Interim Police Chief of DeKalb County. Certainly, our viewers want to know who's at the helm of this incredibly important ship. Tell us a little bit about your background in public safety.
Okay, good question. First of all, let me start by saying I grew up in DeKalb County. My family moved here when I was 3 years old, and we've lived in DeKalb County my entire career growing up. So I've been with the police department. This is my 23rd year, and started off like everybody does in the police academy. So I worked in the homicide unit for 3 years. I was a homicide investigator. We investigated all sorts of homicides, assaults, terroristic threats, and kidnappings. That's where I got a majority of my investigative experience.
What attracted you to the field of law enforcement to begin with?
Well, law enforcement, it's something I've always wanted to do as a kid, and I realized to be a police officer, it's something you should start at when you're young. So when I was fresh out of college looking for something to do, I had some job offers in the private sector and determined this is a good time to get into police work because I could go into the private sector anytime. I think this is one of the best police departments in the country. We have lots of opportunity for advancement, lots of diversity, many different assignments, and lots of opportunity for promotion and advancement. These are things that you don't get in some of the smaller police departments or the more rural police departments. We handle more here within a year than you would see in a smaller police department in an entire career.
With you starting your career here in DeKalb County and dedicating your entire career in DeKalb, starting just at the age of 22, certainly you have to be excited about being appointed as the new police chief here in DeKalb. Can you talk to us about that?
I did see myself eventually being a police chief elsewhere, but I never saw the possibilities here. So I'm living each day as if it's my last one. I'm doing everything I can to effect a positive change on our department and the citizens in the county.
In the short amount of time you've served thus far as interim police chief, you've already put in several new programs to help boost employee morale. Can you talk to us about some of the things you've done thus far to support the brave men and women who put their lives on the line each and every day for all of us here in DeKalb County?
We came up with a number of initiatives. Personnel, equipment, and facilities. Those are our three big areas that need improvement. So we did some studies to where we determined take-home vehicles is a tremendous asset to the officer, to the citizens, and to the county. The vehicles last longer. You have a much better visibility of vehicles in the community as officers are driving to and from work, and officers are much better able to respond if needed in an emergency or in some type of weather event, much like we recently had. We've also worked on a tuition reimbursement program. A well-educated police officer has been proven to be an asset and fights crime better and keeps officers at the department longer. Our 5% promotion increase. Previously, when you got promoted, you received a 5% increase, and then after 6 months, you received a 5% raise after you completed your probationary period. This was removed several years ago, and we lost a number of candidates, mostly in our detective area, who wanted to be supervisors, but financially it just was not worth it. They would lose their detective vehicle and only get a 5% raise, and they were basically losing money by being promoted. So this kind of stagnated our promotion ranks. So these initiatives have kind of reinfused our officers.
Now tell me how these new incentives to boost employee morale translate into safer streets for our citizens watching this program.
So I'll use the take-home vehicles as an example. So when you see officers coming and going, you're seeing the marked vehicles throughout the county. This provides a higher visibility. Plus, there's less of that overlap period where officers have to come in and we need to utilize those vehicles to get the next shift out.
Now, Chief, I've had the honor of reporting on the great work of DeKalb County's Police Department for years, and certainly our citizens are aware of those who patrol the streets. But there are so many other programs and services offered through our DeKalb County Police Department that our citizens may not be aware of. Can you talk to us about some of those other services and programmatic initiatives?
Right. And that's a great question. When we go to community meetings and we're talking staffing numbers, most of everything everybody thinks about is that police officer driving the police car. That's the largest part of our department. That's where our focus is. But there's so much more to our department. We have our criminal investigation division. These are the detectives. They're coming in plain clothes. They have unmarked cars. You only see them when there's a major crime and they're doing the follow-up investigations. So that's one of the areas that you can go into after you've become a police officer. So that's future advancement as well as an entirely different atmosphere for work. So we also have our Special Operations Division. Many people see these. These are the motorcycles, our SWAT team, helicopter units, Our traffic specialist units, they investigate traffic fatalities and hit and runs. We have our support services division. This is our second largest division and the division that most people overlook. But this is where our police training academy, our 911 center, our property room, our record room. Many of these folks are also civilian employees, the ones that work in our record room and 911. That's an entire division that people don't think about. Our training division, made up of 16 officers and supervisors in our training division. And we have our own academy. We offer classes full-time, so you get certified through the state. You can be an instructor down there. You can teach police basic mandate as well as advanced classes to police officers and citizens throughout the county.
And for our viewers, how would you describe the brave men and women who accepted the call to serve and wear that DeKalb County Police badge each and every day?
Well, we do have some of the best men and women in law enforcement. I see them on a daily basis. You don't hear the stories, but there are many stories out there. Our officers are out there 24/7, 365. And occasionally the news will play stories where an officer gets arrested or crosses the line, and those officers have no duty being in this police department. We act swiftly to remove them. But there's not enough focus on the good work that these officers do. We have our Police Athletic League. That was one of the units that I failed to mention. And many of our officers that are not in the Police Athletic League volunteer their time to help support the youth of our county. They do this on their own time with no pay and usually no to little recognition. Most of our officers, the number one reason they join the police department is they want to help somebody. That's the first question that we ask them when they apply, and that's the first question during our oral interview process. Why do you want to be a police officer? And almost 99% of them say to help people. And that's why our officers are here. I think we've got a great group of officers. I encourage you, if you see an officer and they're not busy, they're not involved in an investigation, just go up and say, hey, thank you for what you do, because they keep all of us safe. They keep me safe and everybody else that lives in our community.
Chief Conroy, thank you so much for all that you're doing in DeKalb County and for sharing your time with us here today on our show. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Diamond.
Now, in 2013, DeKalb County's police department could easily be described as an agency that underwent change. There was a change in leadership and a change in strategy on how to address crime. Well, the stats are in, and I'm happy to report it seems that change has resulted in the positive increase in major drug busts and a decrease in crime. DCTV's own Mika Parrish has that story.
These plastic brick shapes laid out on the tables are actually a sampling of drugs seized from the streets of DeKalb County by the narcotics unit in 2013. These drugs have an estimated street value of $128 million.
That drugs play a significant part in much of the crime that we report to. And if we can target and hit some of those areas and take some of those drugs off the street, hopefully to make some small significant difference to us.
No doubt it's an impressive sight. The drugs on display include portions of the 302 kilograms of meth, 565 kilograms of powdered cocaine, 6,000 pounds of marijuana and crack cocaine detectives seized. They also recovered more than $3.4 million in cash and arrested nearly 1,000 people in connection to drug investigations.
And I believe any time that we're able to take that enormous number of drugs at that type of street value out of this community, it may in some way play a significant role in helping us to continue to reduce crime.
Aggressive police work by the department is paying off. Crime was down for DeKalb County in 2013.
We have seen a slight decrease in our violent crimes and overall property crimes over the last year. They're small, but they're significant, 4 to 5% overall reduction. But the important part is that it's heading in the right direction.
And leading the charge of identifying criminals and stopping drug trafficking along the streets of DeKalb County are dedicated men and women you see before you, along with numerous federal and state partners. Oftentimes, their names and identities are unknown, but collectively, their motivation to keep this community safe speaks volumes.
Every day we come to work, we bust our tails to take it off the street so that the children out here that run around in DeKalb County and other counties can't get their hands on it.
Mika Parrish, Let's Talk DeKalb.
Thanks, Mika. Much more ahead on Let's Talk DeKalb, including information on a new free service that could help to save your life. That much more on Let's Talk DeKalb.
Hello, this is Lee May, your interim CEO here in DeKalb County, and I've got a message for you. We want your business. That's why we've launched the Expedited Commercial Plan Review Program. It's an extension of my promise, first made publicly at my State of the County address earlier this year. So in partnership with the business community, of course, the Council for Quality Growth, thank you for your work, and an outside consultant, we are restructuring the permitting and business license process in DeKalb County. This will make doing business in DeKalb County a much more efficient process. The peer review program is unprecedented and is part of our many energized efforts to stimulate our local economy and make DeKalb the most business-friendly county in this region. We've begun that by partnering with qualified experts to help reduce our turnaround time to 10 days in the permitting department. That's right. We're offering customers in unincorporated DeKalb County a guaranteed 10 business day review time for all proposed commercial projects with valid addresses. That's a quick turnaround, and it means permit applicants now have a separate optional processing method to accelerate the review process. And the program covers many areas such as accessibility, structural, fire, and life safety. This overhaul of our permitting process is creating a win-win to usher in new, thriving business to our county. Starting the permitting process with certified reviewers can save time and help a project meet all county requirements with less hassle. To access the list of approved peer reviewers, to learn how to become a peer reviewer, or to find out more about this exciting new program, go online to www.planningdecalb.net/expedited plans. We mean business in DeKalb County. Thank you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk DeKalb. I'm Diamond Lewis.
And I'm AvivA Hoffmann.
We're reporting today from DeKalb County's police headquarters in Tucker with the Emergency 911 Center as our backdrop.
DeKalb County is now connected to a new free service that's helping provide additional important information to emergency personnel the second an emergency call is placed. Here's more now on Smart 911 service. It's helping save lives.
DeKalb Emergency 911, what's the address of the emergency?
There's a new smart way to help keep you safe in DeKalb County. Smart 911 is a free voluntary service allowing participants to create a safety profile with information they want to share with 911. Officials recently held a news conference to announce more details.
When anyone in the household dials 911 from a phone associated with the safety profile, the profile is immediately displayed on the operator's computer screen here at the 911 center.
That helps ensure the proper response to the proper location. One particular challenge for emergency responders, and it's a sign of the times, is that many of us are switching from landlines to cell phones. When an emergency call is placed from a cell phone, it can add another layer of detective work for officials trying to physically locate that emergency. Smart 911 aims to fix that problem.
You can link your cell phone number to your address, and this will help us, particularly in apartment complexes, so we can get close to a location, but you can have your exact apartment location linked to this address, and that will help us in responding.
Another advantage, you can list just about anything in your Smart 911 profile. Everything from your pets, service animals, and medical conditions to the number of people in your household, known allergies, and the medications you take. That way, the responding personnel know what to expect before they even arrive.
Well, one of the great advantages I think we'll see right away is with our elderly population. Many times they may fall, and we have to find ways into their home. So now they can give us data information that'll let us know how we can enter their home without possibly damaging it.
The Smart 911 system can store basically as much information as you're willing to share.
With this, you can give a work address, a home address, and at least we've got somewhere to start. If you call in, our first question to you is, where are you at? And you can't answer that. We've got a starting point. We can either start at your address or your work address and try to find out where you are if you need assistance. Children's bedrooms in a fire, if you wanted to list that information where you have young children or babies and where their rooms are, the firemen would already know what areas they were going to first.
So, be sure to give 911 the extra information it needs to better help you and your loved ones in the event of an emergency. To sign up for Smart 911, log on to www.smart911.com for more information. And to further protect you and your family's safety, DeKalb County offers a high-speed notification system called Code Red. This emergency notification system delivers time-sensitive messages via voice, email, and text to targeted areas during emergency situations or disasters.
To register for Code Red, visit the DeKalb County website at DeKalbCountyGA.gov and click on the Code Red notification link to follow the directions. Or you can sign up for Code Red over the phone by calling DeKalb County's Emergency Management Office at 770-270-0413, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
We really do have an incredible system here in place to help save lives, and much of the help we get starts right here at the 911 call center. You can be sure that the call operators get the very best of training. In fact, one of the newest operators here, Crystal Morrow, credits training with helping her to save her own father's life on her first day on the job.
Crystal was just 4 hours into her very first day here on the job when she recognized the voice on the other end of the line as being that of her aunt. Her aunt was actually calling because Crystal's own father had entered into diabetic shock, and Crystal remained calm enough to dispatch an ambulance to get her father the medical attention he so desperately needed at that time. She credits her correct and calm response with the training she received right here at DeKalb's 911, especially from her colleague, Danielle Harvey.
I always thank her. Without her, I wouldn't have made it through training at all. I wouldn't have. I'm very grateful. She's very detailed, and she never misses anything. She made sure I had everything before I was released, and I did have everything before I was released.
Now that's something to talk about. Well, now on the show, it's time to recap some other helpful websites and telephone numbers from this special public safety edition of Let's Talk DeKalb.
DeKalb's Police and Fire Rescue Departments are both headquartered in Tucker. The address for police is 1960 West Exchange Place. The non-emergency number is 678-937-2852. The address for Fire Rescue is 1950 West Exchange Place, and the general number there is 678-406-7750.
For more information on the National Ghost Out program, go to the DeKalb Fire Rescue website at www.DeKalbFireRescue.org and look for the link to community education.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Property Fraud Registry Alert System, call 404-687-3812. You can also register your DeKalb County property at web.co.DeKalb.ga.us/clerk.
For information about many other DeKalb County services and events, be sure to check out the county's internet site at DeKalbCountyGA.gov.
And we here at DCTV are constantly working to offer you greater access and give you a front row seat to all things DeKalb. Be sure to check out our new social media offerings. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Ustream.
And check out our website at DCTVchannel23.tv or give us a call at 404-371-2989.
Well, that wraps up another fun show here on Let's Talk DeKalb. I'm Diamond Lewis.
And I'm AvivA Hoffmann.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this special public safety edition of Let's Talk DeKalb.